Hello and welcome to Proschool. Today we are going to have a very interesting chat on CFP or financial planning area. Financial planning is seeing a massive comeback or refocusing, I should say, for two primary reasons. One, markets have been very favorable. Assets under management are up sixfold. Folios have gone to 21 crores. Mutual fund SIP keep flowing in. So markets are one reason why everybody today needs financial advice and financial planning. And second reason where we are very excited about financial planning is because Mr. Krishan Mishra has joined as CEO of FPSB, and he is creating another excitement in financial planning world. And that's the reason CFP has come under focus within Proschool once again. And we are excited to start our second innings in CFP area. So Krishan, welcome to today's session, and we are looking forward to hearing from you on what's new with CFP and FPSB.
Sure. Thank you so much for inviting me, Sanjay.
My pleasure. So let me get you started with understanding, in your view, what makes CFP a unique finance qualification?
Thank you so much for asking me this question, Sanjay. And interestingly, CFP certification in itself is a very unique combination of marketing and finance both. Normally what happens is, if you look at various finance qualifications, they will focus on giving you accounting knowledge. But here you learn a life skill, which can practically help you not only manage the finances for others, but also for yourself and your families. So learning a life skill is something which can actually make you a good professional as well as a good human being who is there to help people at large. So that's what this certification is all about.
Absolutely. And at Proschool, we believe that it has such a wider appeal. Almost anybody can, it is one qualification which almost anybody can do for their own well-being if they do not want to take it up professionally.
Correct.
So that's what, I mean, makes CFP such a wider appealing.
In fact, you can come from any walk of life and do this course. So you might be into medicine, engineering, or you might be a lawyer or a fashion designer or hotel management guy. It doesn't matter. You can do this course and learn the skills which can help you manage your finances as well as the finances for everyone who is coming in touch with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so we've seen a lot of young graduates coming into financial planning. I mean, people who are in first year BCom or second year BCom, and they are the ones taking up CFP. Where do you see scope for these fresh graduates in financial planning?
So what happens is, if you look at the fresh graduates who are looking forward to a career in the field of banking, financial services and insurance, interestingly, Sanjay, if you look at the National Career Service data, which is done by the Government of India last year, we created around 46.86 lakh jobs in the field of financial services, out of which we could only take 27.5 lakh jobs, which means 18.1 lakh jobs went vacant. Why these jobs went vacant was because people did not have the right capability or ability to pick up the job which was available. And if you do a certification like CFP, you become the right person to pick up that job which is available in the market.
Okay.
And the industry is looking forward to people like you, because if you look at the number of people who are required, it is currently very high, and people to apply to those jobs are very less. So demand is so high.
So can I summarize by saying graduates have a wonderful opportunity available if they do this certification? So
There's no doubt about
lots of CFP
related
jobs that are available.
Correct. And in fact, don't listen to me. Just go and check on Naukri.com. You'll be able to find out the number of jobs. Which
I was about to say that. Go and Google on, go and just search on Naukri and see how many jobs pop up.
Correct.
Okay. If I were to look at the same question slightly differently and say, if I'm a 21-year-old who has just completed CFE, what kind of a career path can I expect?
And that's a very good question. So once you start your career in the field of financial planning, you might join as a wealth manager or a relationship manager, and then you move ahead in your career towards various senior roles and look forward to becoming a CIO or a CEO for the organization. Because see, when you know about your finances and you know how to get them managed within the organization, you can manage the finances for the organizations too. It doesn't matter. See, if you look at financial planning, though we talk about personal finance more, but the areas like investments, the areas like insurance, estate planning, they impact the organizations too. In fact, if you look at the global Fortune 500 companies around the world, they make less money from their core business nowadays, and they make more money from their investment income. And this investment income is brought in by the people who are financial planners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And could I also say that they might start as relationship managers, or but eventually they start handling wealthier clients become wealth managers, and eventually kind of end up as private bankers.
Private bankers or the CIO of the organization. In fact, I can tell you, we have got CFP professionals who have been running the treasuries of various banks for a good number of years.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Oh.
In fact, Axis Bank's treasury was run by one of our CFP professionals for a period of 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so in the last 15, 17 years that Proschool has been involved with CFP, one of the issues we have faced is that most of the guys, young guys especially, 20, 21-year-olds, got jobs which were largely sales jobs. So they were selling mutual funds, they were selling insurance, and that was one of the, would say, a factor that puts them off. Has that begun to change? What are other roles that are available, or do they just need to be patient to get through that period, face the new ball when it's swinging and then probably start hitting it? So what is your advice to these guys?
So if you look at the area of financial planning, yes, the number of jobs in sales are always more than the normal, because you need more people in distribution.
Yes.
Right? When it comes to product distribution, talking to the clients, giving them the right solutions, practically you are needed there. And I can tell you that there are a lot of salespeople who eventually become CEOs of organizations.
Yes.
Right? And this is what we can see with various examples which are present in this world. In fact, I was into sales myself and I grew to the position of CEO. So what I have seen myself is that yes, you can get into this area and grow. That is one. Second is the jobs are evolving for the CFP professionals. Now people are needed as retirement planners, as para planners, right? And then practically you can also look at risk management areas, the areas like corporate strategy, right? Wherein financial planners are needed to work on those areas. People are needed in the treasury functions for the organizations. Look at the way in which family offices have grown in the past few years. In fact, after pandemic, we have created more than 1,000 plus new family offices in India.
Wow.
Yeah, so 1,000 plus family offices, which means that there's a good requirement with people to manage their wealth. Yeah. Right? And if you look at the private banking sector in itself, it is growing faster than any other sector. In fact, it has become the top job for a B school graduate too today.
Fabulous. Okay, if you look at another segment, we see that there has been fantastic growth on retail participation in the industry in the last 5 to 10 years. So there is obviously a lot of demand for advisory.
Correct.
Have we seen emergence of or growth, significant growth in the number of independent financial advisors?
So this is a very, very interesting question and a very important area. Talking about independent financial advisors, for us, they're entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Right? They are the practicing professionals. And in fact, what has happened over a period of, I would say, last 40, 50 years, is that as India, as Bharat of this world, right? So practically what we have seen is that people in the 70s used to earn salaries in say hundreds. In 80s, they started looking at salaries in thousands, right? And in fact, in 90s, it was 5,000 or 10,000 rupees. People used to talk about that. Look at 2001 onwards, people started talking about CTCs, the cost to companies. And post-pandemic, now you see that the number of crorepati's is also increasing. So CTCs are in crores practically in India for a lot of people. Now what has happened is you have more disposable income. You know that you need to invest if you want to stay in this world, right? And our life expectancy is also increasing. Approximately an Indian lives till 73. That's the average age for Indian. But we have got the youngest population in the world. So 73 is the average, but 28.2 is another average as the youngest population of this world. So people have got longer cycle to work in the industry and then look forward to a retirement life also.
Yeah.
So which has actually forced people to look at these independent financial advisors or the practicing professionals. In fact, we did a research last year which talks about value of financial planning, and people who took the advice and consultancy from the CFP professionals, 82% of them said that we are living a better life. right? And we know that we'll be able to navigate our future much better than anyone else. Because what has happened apparently in the last so many years, Sanjay, is that with the advent of retail or the AUMs increasing, mutual funds growing, the unethical practices and integrity issues have also come in our industry. The financial services industry has been impacted by that. Why? Because a lot of people practically thought that, okay, can I make some quick money? And they were actually salespeople who were just chasing their targets or who were looking at their own incentives or money to make. But then what has happened apparently is that now people don't need those target chasers. They don't need transactional professionals. They need consultants who can actually look at your need and then give you a plan which can actually take you to manage your lives better.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm sure independent financial advisors are growing in numbers.
In fact, 50% of our CFP professionals are practicing professionals.
Yeah. Now, one of the things we used to observe at least 10 years back were that people were not willing to pay fee for advice. So that was the challenge in becoming a financial advisor. So we used to talk to a lot of financial advisors, and their biggest challenge was people not willing to. We are used to, paying for the gold, but not for the gold ornament making. So we don't pay for advice. Has that changed?
So apparently what has happened is, previously people who invested, they practically burned their fingers, hands, and I don't know what not in their body. But then what has apparently happened now is that with the support of these kind of financial planners, right, the certified financial planner professionals who are able to define your life goals and help you navigate them, they have been able to manage their investments, manage their retirement, manage and plan for their estate much better than the normal.
So are we saying that financial advisors are now able to earn a
living
living by giving advice and not selling products?
Correct. And they are in demand practically. People have started asking. The Gen Z is very smart, I can tell you. They themselves come and ask that, are you a CFP professional? If you're not, they might not like to take an advice from you.
Yeah. So one of my friends who's recently become a financial advisor, most of his clients are chartered accountants. So he's saying if chartered accountants are the most aware and they are the ones seeking advice, so hopefully other people will understand that this advice, this professional advice can actually help and make a difference in their portfolios. In fact, and therefore will be willing to pay for it.
Correct. In fact, if you look at most of the CEOs of mutual fund companies or banks, right, including myself, we have got our own CFP professionals to give us the advice, right? So practically, if you are in the profession yourself, that doesn't mean that, okay, you can advise yourself.
Correct. It's like doctor not being able to treat himself.
Correct. And these are financial doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now coming to individuals, do you see a lot of merit in individuals wanting to do CFP just for themselves, not to make it a profession? Because, I mean, so many people want to retire, but they don't know how. There is always, I've seen a lot of confusion related to wills, whether it should be registered, not registered. So seems to be a lot of confusion in people's mind. So do you think it makes sense for somebody to go through a CFP curriculum for themselves, personally?
So as I mentioned, practically CFP curriculum or the certification can actually help you get a life skill. It's a life skill to manage your life, right? So we talk about sustainability of a country normally, that okay, if you want to sustain for the long term, then for the country you have to manage finances better, right? But then if you look at an individual, if the individual is not self-sustained or is not able to look at finances better, then the family will not grow. And if the family doesn't grow, then how will the economy grow? So we have to make each individual financially educated. In fact, you mentioned about CAs, I can tell you that there are a lot of people, and I'm making a very bold statement here, they might be educated, but they're not financially educated. That's the biggest challenge for our country, right? I have seen so many CEOs, CFOs, CHROs of organizations who might be managing their organizations really well, but when it comes to their own personal finances, they struggle. So practically,
that's chirag tale andhera.
Bilkul, you're right. Bang on. So what is needed is that to learn this as a life skill to manage your life better. See, financial planning is not about just managing money. This is something which is needed for people to understand that financial planning is about managing your life. Right?
Yes.
And when we say life has got various stages. You mentioned about wills. Now, if you look at the courts today, 70% of the civil cases in our courts are because of not having the right will.
Correct.
And who wins here? Only the lawyer and nobody else, right? So you are making lawyers gain money, but you are not making your life better by preparing a will or looking at an estate for yourself. You're not planning for your retirement, because today retirement is not about just moving on the road and saying that, okay, I'm on the highway. It is about actually getting into another expressway later on, because post 60 also you have to live your life and play your second innings. As we are looking at this certification second inning here, right? In the similar way, second innings are very important for people at large. And if you do not have the right finances to manage your second innings, you will be in a very difficult situation, because you cannot be dependent on your son to manage your retirement.
Okay, so coming to sons, I remember there was a SEBI NISM initiative to teach school kids about financial literacy or create financial literacy in school, and we had actually created a program called Money Edge. Which is, I think, now available in different. So there was a great focus on teaching school kids about finance, at least making them literate. So when they come to college or they become adults and 18, they get into financial planning. Are we doing, as FPSB, are you taking some initiative on schools?
And that's a very good point, Sanjay. And in fact, we have already started taking those steps. We are going to work with the boards as well as the universities across to give the right financial literacy related education and further personal financial education. See, for me, literacy means that, okay, I know about my bank account, I know about how to manage money, right? But then more important is to get fully educated towards investments and retirement insurance, etc. Because see, a lot of people do not know that what are the things which I can actually insure. And interestingly, anything under the sky can be insured. Yeah, if you are not aware, people have insured their voice, their hand, right? Football players have insured their legs, right? So there are so many types of insurances which are available.
And I think to the kids in school, we need to tell them that earning money is one aspect, but managing money is equally important. Most of people are focused on earning more rather than managing what they've already earned, which is actually easier because they've already earned it. So there is less focus on managing than on earning.
As a society, Sanjay, we have been a society wherein we used to earn money first and then worry where to spend. And we have become a society wherein we spend money first and then worry from where will I earn and repay. Right? So the situation has come where, because of obviously so many personal loans, buy now, pay later schemes, credit cards and other areas, you should know that how to manage them. Because if you don't manage them well, they will start managing you. And if they start managing you, life becomes really tough. So that's why a curriculum or education related to finance and financial planning plays a major role in terms of, I would say, developing an individual for their future. Right?
Okay. So let me now come to the question of curriculum. We came across, we just heard the announcement that there will be another module on psychology of money.
Correct.
And so our students will be very keen to know what this psychology of money module is going to be all about. So can you talk a little about psychology of money module coming into CFP curriculum?
Correct. And we are calling it psychology for practice, basically. And what we say is that whenever we take any decision, right, we have got certain thoughts in our minds, and these thoughts come from our previous learnings, right, whatever we have learned through our values and what we have seen in our families and in our environment. So based on that, we take those decisions. Somebody can be a very strong risk taker when it comes to going for bungee jumping. But the same person might not be interested in taking a risk in the stock market, right? And somebody might be the one who is very shy and he never moves out of his office only, right? But then he might have invested all his money in the stock market. Now, this kind of a psychology comes from where? And this is something which we are going to talk about. Because each client, each individual is different. Your plan, Sanjay, and my plan, and anybody else's plan would be different.
Right.
Because it cannot be the same plan. There is no single formula which can give you the same plan, right? So practically, because your goals are different, right? And maybe the timeline for you to achieve those goals might be different from one person to another.
Right.
And that's the reason why the psychology plays a major role. Psychology has various parameters which talks about needs, wants, desires, right? And then learning, unlearning and relearning, right? See, practically what people say is that if you want to understand someone, and this is known as empathizing, that okay, you need to put yourself in the shoes of others to understand that person. But before that, you need to remove your own shoes. If you don't remove your own shoes, how will you get into the shoes of someone else, right? Most of the times we keep on wearing the same shoes and do not get into, and we are not able to understand the other person's mindset. So when it comes to client handling, relationship management, it is really very important that we understand about the psychology of the person and their decision making process. And this is something which we are going to talk about in this course. So it's a very, very unique course on behavioral finance.
And how does it get into the curriculum? Will there be a separate module, a separate exam for this? What is the plan?
So there won't be any separate exam. It will be part of the curriculum for the students.
Okay.
And for the CFP professionals, we will have a separate CPD, right? Through which we will conduct an exam and we'll give them a certificate.
Okay, so it doesn't really impact the 4 modules and the
No, it will not. So in the 4 modules only, this will come and it will become a part of that. Part of the curriculum post-April.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you for your time. Thank you for coming here and giving us your perspective on CFP qualification and also the way where it is heading. And we look forward to you continuing to energize this field. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been an honor to meet you, Sanjay, again.
Thank you.
Take care.